Thank you all so much for joining today. So if you have any questions as we go through this webinar, please just type them into the questions box on your screen and we'll be sure to get to those at the end. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Alex Burns, who is the Vice President of P3 Propane Safety.
Thanks, Emma. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We figured we just, as we normally do each month, just take a couple minutes, up to 20 minutes to just spend some time talking about some functionality that's either new to us or something that people are really utilizing a lot or have more questions about. So just kind of an opportunity to give you just a quick taste of how the system works, and then also talk a little bit about how it's really working for some folks in the field, which I think is an important thing to talk about. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Alex Burns. I've been here with P3 Propane Safety in Boston Environmental for 18 years now, and one of my main responsibilities here is the development of P3. So I spend a lot of time working with folks in the field, referencing code, understanding exactly what's needed and what would be helpful, and then working with our development team to actually execute and bring that to our app and to our database, which is a really cool thing to be able to do. And it's really fun to be able to get on here and talk about it and be able to show the final product and be talking to folks about how they use it and how it can help, kind of change their day to day. And affect their business and their business process. So that's a little bit of what we are hoping to do today. So with that, I've got Logan Cass joining me from Keystone Cooperative to talk a little bit about their experience. So I think with that, Logan, maybe do you want to give a little bit of a background about kind of your experience in the industry, the organization that you work for, and then we can kind of jump into it after that.
Yep. So for those of you that don't know, Keystone Cooperative is a farmer-owned co-op. They are owned by over 20,000 farmers, and that spans 3 states, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio. And in one form or another, Keystone's been around for over 100 years. So that's a little bit of background on the company. I've been with Keystone for 3 years now as the propane manager here. Prior to that, I've spent about 12 years doing seed production in various forms. So coming here, learning this has been quite an adventure for me. And then also having P3 here to help has been great. So.
Great. Wonderful. Well, that's great. That's great to hear. So I think one of the things that we did want to talk about, because this is a situation that a lot of people are in once we release this bulk plant functionality, or once somebody comes to starts working with P3, like you were mentioning here, kind of what was your kind of process for managing your bulk plant data, getting the inspections done, all of that? What was that process like before P3, and then now? Obviously you're working with P3 now. So how has that process changed from what it used to be to what it is now?
So prior to P3, it was a very manual process. We'd go out, visually inspect each plant, fill out a paper there. I'd have to transport that back to the office, scan that in, email that over. I would have to retain a record for myself, and then also where I was scanning it to, they would have to retain a record, and they would be reviewing my inspection as well. So a lot of, I guess it was duplicating quite a few things in the process, and then also it was a lot of manual entry. When P3 came out with this functionality, it was a huge time saver. When I would go out and do my bulk plant inspections, it's basically instantaneous to my supervisor, so he can review them. So I'll go out there, do the plant inspection, and within minutes, he's getting a notification on his dashboard that there's an inspection to be reviewed. And if there's something that needs to happen, it's great to track it, because you can also take photos, and they're integrated within the report, so my supervisor can see it. Our risk and safety departments can see what's going on as well. Where before we'd have to, if we were taking pictures, it would be emailed back and forth, where this is a great tool to track it. I compare it greatly to the priority follow-ups for inspections. It keeps it in front of you. Same thing here. It keeps the bulk plant inspections in front of you and any things that need fixed in front of you.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Okay. So I think maybe some of thsome of that process that Logan just referenced, I think maybe what we can do is kind of show a little bit kind of maybe what I'll do is actually just pop over into our mobile application. For those folks working with P3, you're familiar with this. If you're not, this is what technicians, drivers see in the field when they're going out to do an inspection. So if you're going to be doing a bulk plant inspection, here, and again, this is some test data, so there's a lot going on here, but it's going to bring you right in and show you all the bulk plants that you have under any, specific P3 location, any of the bulk plants that you're responsible for. So I don't know, Logan, I think, are you responsible for maybe 3 bulk plants? Is that fair to say?
I got 5 in my area, and then
okay.
Yep. I also help some of the other managers in their area as well. So
okay. So this will kind of give you everything you're responsible for. And as you can see, at any given point, you can jump right in and do the inspection for that bulk plant. Or if there's any outstanding issues that have been identified in a previous inspection, you're going to know right away because you're going to see this resolve button. So that's a way that you can go in if you just you're maybe just going out to resolve an issue that happened at the last inspection and you're not doing a whole nother complete inspection. So that's another way that we can kind of add some efficiency. So in this case, we'll just kind of move forward with an inspection. It won't go through and do a whole inspection. It is rather comprehensive, but at least just give you like a little snip of kind of what it looks like. So first thing you're going to do is it's just going to bring you right into, this is already a plant that's been set up. So it's going to give you just a little bit of an overview of that particular plant, some of the basic details just to make sure, nothing's changed. You can change that if you need to, most likely not. You're going to continue into the inspection. You're going to let the system know whether you're completing a monthly or an annual inspection. And then once you get in here, this is kind of the beginning of the inspection. So really it's very simple. And so this, I won't go through the whole thing. You can see down here, the inspection progress bar, kind of all the sections of the inspection that are available to be answered. But really it's just, we've tried to keep it just very simple, just either yes or no, or NA if it doesn't apply, because there might be some questions in here or entire sections that don't apply to the particular bulk plant that you're working on. Very easy to just say NA, it's noted on the inspection. You don't have to worry about it. So really it's just kind of going through and starting to answer any questions. If you know all these questions, you can just say yes. If you say no, you can open it up for further information about that particular question. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, this was a bulk plant that has 2 containers cited there. I'm going to say that maybe one of them needs to be painted, right? So I'm going to select which container that is, and then I can go through and I can upload a photo. So you can either upload photos from your tablet, computer, whatever you have that you've already taken, or you can just take them right into the app directly, whatever's kind of works for the way that you're kind of operating. And then any comments you have about this. Something like that. And then you can just move along through the inspection. You can continue on. I won't continue through everything. If you leave anything blank, it's going to give you a heads up that you haven't fully inspected that section. In this case, I'm not going to go through and answer a million questions. So you can just kind of see how that overall process would work. So what I'm going to do is just bring you right to the end of the inspection, just kind of show you at the very end. It gives you an overview of all the work that you did, inserts any pictures that you took right into the document. Again, you would have answered all these questions, and then you get to the bottom and the inspector will sign the inspection and submit. So I don't know, Logan, you're out doing these inspections on a monthly basis. Is there anything about that process that you think is worth noting?
I feel like it's just like any other process. The first couple times takes more time than it does for me now. The first 2 or 3 times doing it took a lot longer than doing it as I do every month now. So just like anything, the more you do it, the faster you get at it. So it's just, in my opinion, it's a great tool. It's helped us out tremendously within our company. So.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is. It's a lot of questions. It's comprehensive. There's a lot to look at. But I think, you know, kind of like you said, once you do it a few times, you kind of know the flow, you know, the questions, what they're going to be asked, you know, kind of where you're looking in the plant to find those things. And I think that just becomes more efficient over time. So yeah, so what we're looking at here, so now the inspection's been completed, it brings you right, so what we're looking at now, this is a multi-location dashboard. So if you have multiple locations in P3 that you're managing, you can kind of come in this way. We'll look particularly at the bulk plant section here. That's going to bring you right in and just show you a map, kind of an overview of all the bulk plants associated with each location. Round circle is going to tell you everything's good, you've got a current inspection, there's no outstanding issues. And then if you've got one of these with an exclamation point, either it's expired, there's an outstanding issue that needs to be dealt with. So it just gives you kind of a quick general overview of where everything stands. But we can get into a little bit more detail by toggling over to the list view here. And again, this is going to give you another kind of real overview of multiple locations where you're either current or expired on your monthlies. Same thing with the annuals, and then anything that has any sort of follow-up that's been identified as a potential issue is going to be here under follow-up required. So again, this is some test data, so it's a little bit, you know, a little bit funky looking at times, but you can see anything that's been identified with a particular issue, either because it was identified during the inspection, and then you can see any comments that the inspector put in, or this is an example of an account where maybe no issues were identified during the inspection specifically, but somebody who was reviewing it saw a picture, saw something and said, hey, you know what, that doesn't look right, we need to go back out and deal with it. So inspections can end up here in a couple of different ways. So you can see this is the one that we just completed, hasn't been reviewed yet, but it just tells you kind of what area of the inspection was noted as being problematic, and then any specific comments, this is what I typed in there, that the inspector is going to comment on during the inspection. So you can kind of get a general overview that way. So I think maybe what we'll do here is go right into, this is the bulk plant details. Again, kind of gives you an overview of the entire bulk plant, as well as the most recent inspection there. And then I think, Logan, one of the things that you were talking about earlier is the ability to track this kind of through the process, right? It's yep. The, you know, you've completed in your particular case, because you're not going to be reviewing your own work, right? So you've gone out, you've done your bulk plant inspections. Now, like you said, your manager is going to see, this is, let's say, their dashboard at this point. They can come right in here to anything that's open for review. They can see how many bulk plant inspections have been completed that haven't been reviewed yet. So you can see right here all the inspections that need to be reviewed. So maybe I'll just go right to the one that I just completed. You can just go right in here and review it. So this brings up right to what were the problems. You can get right in here and look at the PDF. And this is where I think in this case, this is an example where we've kind of said, hey, you know, maybe we need to get back out and paint these tanks, but maybe we're headed into winter and we realize that's probably not going to happen right away. So usually when we say priority follow-up, that's something that you're going to want to deal with relatively immediately, like in the next 30 days or so. But maybe you know that this thing just needs to be painted maybe in the spring, right? So that would be something that you write up more as like a reviewed with comments, and then just get something like get back out and paint in the spring. So then that leaves that on your dashboard, and like Logan was saying, like you're then not going to lose track of the fact that something needs to be done here. It's all being held in one place. So we can save that, and then we can go right back to the dashboard, and then that'll be housed here under reviewed with comments, and then you've got your bulk plant information right here. So now we know that in the spring, we need to get back out to the Falmouth bulk plant and get that thing painted. So that's a way that, you know, again, you can kind of keep track of all that stuff. So I don't know if there's anything with that process that you thought would be worth talking about, Logan, there.
That's basically what we do. If there's wintertime, we can't get decals put on properly, we can't get bulk plants painted, we'll put those comments in, and then that gives us priority to, or gives us the option to follow up with them back in springtime or as the weather gets better during summer. It also helps things from getting lost in the shuffle. I know everyone gets busy as we get farther and farther along here, so it's great to have this stuff right in front of you every day. So
yeah. Great. Okay. And then one of the other things that I just want to make sure that we had a chance to touch on here, again, looking at this is if you're managing multiple locations, this is just another tool that's in here that I think can be particularly helpful. So this is kind of that again, that report kind of giving you an overview of what's going on. So this is a report that you can go and look at in real time anytime you want to, or you can email the report. You can email it because you're about to have a meeting right now and you want everybody in that meeting to have a copy of that report in front of them. That's the way you can do it. Or you can create a recurring email. So something that you have a particular group of people that maybe meet with some regularity where you talk about this, or you just want them to have a flash report where they can kind of see, you know, where maybe managers can understand and see themselves kind of benchmarked against other managers in the company, or you can understand very quickly what's going on with your own set of work. So I think you were saying, Logan, that the way that you've utilized this within your organization is you guys get like a monthly email, whatever it is, at 9 o'clock on Monday mornings, everybody gets sent kind of the bulk plan email. And then how do you guys utilize that? Is there any sort of, is that due to a specific meeting or just kind of a flash that everybody gets in front of them, or how does that work?
It's kind of a flash to give everybody what's in front of them, just to see where everyone's at, and then also to see kind of if there was something that was missed as well. So
yeah. Okay, great, wonderful. And then yeah, set up with any regularity that's helpful to people. So I think with that, I think that was the main functionality that we really wanted to get through. Is there anything that you specifically wanted to add, Logan, before we see if there were any questions?
Not really. It's been a great time saver for all of us, so, and a great way to track. That's
great.
It is a really great tool for us. So
awesome. That's great. Well, thank you. We're really glad to hear that. So I think with that, Emma, were there any questions that popped up while we were running through that stuff?
It doesn't look like any have popped up.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, obviously anybody who's on, if any questions do come up, or, you know, there's anything else you want to know about bulk plants that we didn't answer here, you know, don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to talk to you about it at any point in time. But I guess thank you, Logan, for taking the time to join us today and talk about all this. We really appreciate it. And thanks everybody who joined us online as well.
Yep.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.